and welcome to Sim.bc, where right now is 16 on the strike, mate, on the strike. Here we work with precision. And today I would just like to begin with saying that I heard one of the funniest thing I've ever heard quite recently, and that was one of my friend's mothers were having a problem with me, mate. Just call him Henry for now, because it's his name. What? Had a problem with, with the ladies, so to say. And his mom was basically saying that, well, you know, instead of getting him a car, because, well, we can't really get him a car because he don't really have a driver's license. It's a huge pain in the ass to get, and all of those things. There's so many restrictions beforehand. Why not give him a electrical bicycle? So that he can go to where the ladies are at. So that he can leave the small, you know, what should we say, community where he's at, you know, the small village, just a hole in the ground where they live, and go into town and meet people. And I was like, yeah, about that. We've all heard, we all know about those, you know, these classical American movies, you know, the love movies, where the guy just rolls up on the bicycle, an electric bicycle, all of them 2 wheels, and the girl is like, wow, you got 2 wheels, you got a helmet on, yeah, you're a bad boy and I like it. So why do you have an electrical bicycle, actually? And he's like, well, because I like to exercise, but why is it electrical though? Well, because I don't like to get sweaty. Well, you don't like to get sweaty. Is it because you're on your way to somewhere? No, electrical bicycle, yeah, for the ladies. Anyway, so it was just one of me friends' mothers who was saying like, oh, why not get this to him? And I was like, but really though? I mean, would it actually improve his chances? Now, I'm not saying that an electrical bicycle is anything wrong with that. I would rather much like to have one, but you know, for that particular reason, I do not think that it would help him that much, right? I think it's like a plus-minus-zero thing. It's like, it doesn't hurt that he has an electric bicycle. It's not like a lady's gonna come home to him and be like, oh, so you're lovely, you're fine, you have the greatest personality ever, but... Is that a helmet I see? Do you have a bicycle? Yeah, I do have a bicycle. Oh yeah, and is it electrical? Yeah, well, I'm out then. I don't think it's that much, right? I think it's a plus-minus-zero thing. I don't think anybody would rate him for it. I don't think anyone would appreciate him more for it. It's just, you know, Henry's going to be Henry anyway. Anyway, mates, matters less. That was just a long digression there for a start. But today, mates, I can hear it. I can actually hear it. I can hear the voices of the people. It sounds like I'm insane, I know. Is the voices just in my head? Wow, it doesn't... Well, that didn't help me. Anyway, I can hear it from outside. What did they say? SNR, 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 SNR. Well, then let's give the people what they want, because today it's time for the Saturday News Recap. It's YouTube's favorite show here at my little corner of the internet, where we're going to go through two international kind of news pieces. One that is kind of heavy and has a very heavy social convention. Not a social convention, but it's kind of a social convention cultural aspect to it. That's actually going to be pretty heavy. And the other one, which is just like, yoo-hoo, great initiative by you. Not you who's watching the video, even though if you've done a great initiative, then great initiative by you. If you haven't, then try to make a great initiative. Anyway, and then we're going to continue that. We're talking about two things that has happened in my life, because I'm a narcissistic prick. And I would like to further elevate myself above you all by talking about me in my video. Isn't that the case? Am I right, people? Am I right? Anyway, mates, without any further ado, let's get into the topic discussion. And why not start with a bit of the heavy stuff first? Because, well, if it tends to be too heavy, I can just move the hell on, right? Even though I could do that if it's second to. But, you know, with structure and professionality, isn't that right? So, the first piece of news is that Beirut Pride cancelled after organizer detained. And I'm just gonna read the introduction to this article for you, yeah? The organizer of a gay pride week in Lebanon says authorities have forced him to cancel the remaining events. Last year, Lebanon became the first Arab country, and I mean, you know, Arab country, I know that it's kind of a classification, but it sounds like a generalization that might have and might not have positive or negatively inclined feelings with it. So I'm just gonna say it's one, you know, it's in a work of countries, right? It's a group of countries. Or is that actually against political correctness to say? say. Anyway, we're going with it. Arabic country to hold a gay pride week. But the organizer of this year's Beirut Pride, Haiti something, says he was taken to a police station overnight after security services came to an event. So they showed up to an event where he was at having this gay pride festival thingamajiggy. Mr. whatever his name is, Damien, the way I'm saying that is not to be disrespectful, right? It's just that if I'm going to say his name, I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, and I think that that is going to make me look like I'm making a fool of him, even though I really try to be sincere, even more than when I'm saying whatever his name is. But for convenience, yeah, for you guys out there, I'm going to say Mr. Damien. Okay, his name is actually Damien. You see, when I read this not that loud in my head before this, I was like, that's kind of a complicated name. Anyway, mates, we'll continue. Mr. Damien says he was asked to sign a pledge that he would cancel what was left of the week, which started on Saturday, in order to be released. Now, when you say the rest of the week that was started on Saturday, doesn't that just mean Sunday? No? Just me? Cancel the rest of the week? You mean cancel tomorrow? Sure, mate. Or do they mean this was on a Saturday and the next of the week, the next week after Sunday, the Monday to next Sunday, is going to be the one that was cancelled? Well, nevertheless, it's still kind of a heavy impact. In order to be released, it was needed to force the sign to, change this. And Lebanon is more tolerant than most Arab countries, but lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender LGBT... no Q? Interesting. People do still face sporadic policy action. Now, I'm not going to argue that I'm an expert on the subject of the Middle Eastern culture, way of life, anything, right? I'm not going to argue that I'm that I'm an expert in, LGBTQ, LGBT communities either. As you can see, I don't even know the acronym, and I'm not even going to say that I know what the sporadic policy action means. However, we're going to discuss it nevertheless, because that is kind of what we do here. So I would like to begin with saying that it's kind of ludicrous, isn't it? And I'm not talking about that it's ludicrous, Siri, please, not now. And I'm not talking about that it's ludicrous that they're having an LGBTQ maybe event in Lebanon. No, I think that's actually rather sane. I think that's something that we should encourage. That should be happening more often. Right? Isn't it? Doesn't it? No? Just me? I think that if people want it, give it to them, right? Supply and demand. That entire relationship that makes up the fundamentals of economy, of economics, really. Why can't we just apply that to social convention and say that if some people want to do something, then let them bloody do something, right? How hard can it really be? Where is that invisible hand? And I hope that it's not, doing something inappropriate with that invisible hand just because it's a hand. No matter, I think that was a funny joke, but I don't think it landed. What the hell? We're continuing. But what is kind of sad is to see that there are authorities that are forcing people who try to organize these events to shut them down. Because really, if they don't do anything to harm the environment, which I would like to argue even though I wasn't there, but I think that I can certainly say that this particular event didn't actually pose any threat to the rest of society in the form of any damage on any buildings, any damage to society. I would just like to argue that it probably enriched society, if anything, right? But still, it seemed to be kind of a problem here, according to the authorities. Now, this can be because of several reasons, many of which I will not take up. I'm just going to say the one that I probably think it is, and this is based on my perspective, and my perspective alone, from where I'm standing. Not perhaps alone, because, I'm probably going to be a bit influenced about the article as well. But, the cultural assumptions and just the culture might be different. And I'm not saying that in a way that, the cultural is different, so that is why they're allowed to do that. I'm saying the culture might be different, right? So that is why they're acting in such a way. That doesn't mean that we should be encouraging that way, right? We should still say that, well, your culture is kind of doing this, but in my opinion, that's wrong. You shouldn't be doing that. And I think that LGBT should be something positive that enriches society and shouldn't be shut down. And the fact that authorities are going out and actively shutting them down instead of, encouraging them is just ludicrous to me. I mean, it's just mental. Imagine that you're waking up one day and you're saying, for me, for instance, I'm waking up and I'm saying, well, today I just turns out I like guys, right? I'm gay. That's just how it is, right? and society is against that. Isn't that really bad? I mean, isn't the entire assumption of a well-thriving economy that, and a well-thriving society overall, that people feel safe within society? Isn't that the case? If I then wake up one day and I say that, it turns out I'm gay. I've come to the conclusion I'm gay. And I feel threatened by society because they don't allow me to be gay. Isn't that kind of counteracting the entire point of society, that we should feel safe? No? Just me? Probably not, but it's ludicrous. Anyway, that's kind of a heavy subject, not something that I would like to dig deep on today. It's just something that I thought was kind of ludicrous when I watched the news over the last week, and I was like, oh, come on. Why is this the case? Can't we all just be friends? I mean, how hard can it bloody be? No pun intended, just because never mind, it wasn't even a pun in there. I'm too all over the place. Anyway, let's continue on to the next point of news, which is going to be the Xbox Adaptive Controller. A first for disabled gamers. And I think that this is an amazing opportunity, an amazing part of a market that is unexplored, that can be driven profits from. Not that we should look upon this as economics or as economists, right? We shouldn't just be looking at people and groups of people as potential pools of profit, right? Even though it probably is a big driver for the initiative. I can't argue against that. I truly believe that the company didn't just go out and think that, what we can do? For the good of society, we should drag in more people that are disabled into gaming. Isn't that just the best thing ever? And they're not just talking about disabilities. Yeah, that's probably how you say it. They're not just talking about, I was about to say regular disability, but I don't even think you can say that. Now, can you? Because is there such a thing as regular disability? Anyway, they're not just talking about, disabilities where you can still use your hands. They're talking about disabilities that specifically hinder you from using a controller. Because what we're talking about, and I know we're talking about the Xbox, right? But this is going to be the closest that I have to hand. But imagine, right, that I'm having, just for argument's sake, now I am having a PS4 controller, and I know that I'm cultural, I'm current, yeah, but we're talking about the Xbox for this, part. And they're focusing on people, not the people who can hold these things, but are disabled maybe from the waist down. They're of course focusing on the people who, because of some sort of disability, have a problem with operating a normal controller, which I think is brilliant. So they're developing a new controller so that people that do have the disability to not be able to use this thing, right, can still play games. And I think that this is kind of building on another thing that we talked about a few weeks ago. Because a few weeks ago, we talked about the idea that, the gaming industry is no longer where career comes to die when it comes to different celebrities and so on and so forth. No, you can actually act out something, and that can be actually shown in the game because, I don't know what it's called, but the pixels, the polygons, whatever, are good enough so that we can actually see the acting come across on screen. So it just makes sense that if we're focusing on that, and if that is coming across, that's probably a huge source of content, entertainment, and just experience for a lot of people. Now, shouldn't people who are disabled in their hands or something, I don't know, that can't use the regular controller, be able to experience this in an equally as good way as everybody else? And I truly believe that, because gaming, 2 thumbs fresh, mate, 2 thumbs fresh. Just from my perspective, and my perspective alone. Yet again, probably not true. Read the article, so probably influenced a bit. Anyway, I think this is an incredible initiative, and Xbox, good on you. You had a Sea of Thieves, and that was a fun little disaster, am I right? Or rather, it was quality as it was, but the application wasn't as extensive as people would have thought. So, or rather, the content in the game. So please make this controller, good. As good as Sea of Thieves, but with as much extensive thought to it and the process behind it and the implementation of it as Sea of Thieves should have had. Anyway, mates, that was everything for the 2 international news pieces for this week that has kind of been standing out to me over this last week. But now we're going to talk about 2 things that I think is interesting that has happened over me, or to this channel rather, I should say, to sound less narcissistic. Not that I am less narcissistic, but it's just a way of kind of trying to believe that I'm not, right? It's to say that, this has been happening over the last week. I think that I mentioned that like 3 times now. Anyway, it's been a big week on social convention. Again. I mean, I'm out of this mind. I'm blown out of this world. I thought for sure, right, that social convention, even though there are some things that I'm kind of irritated about when it comes to society, I thought, oh, well, I don't have enough things to go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about it, right? Turns out, wrong. I have enough things to go on and on and on and on and on about. I could probably fill an entire year with this. So we're going to see how far we're going to go with this social convention thing before I pull the plug of it. Because, well, if I can just continue in all eternity talking about critiquing society, I will probably most likely do that. Why? Is it because I'm a perfectionist and can't be pleased and I have unnormal and unnatural expectations on society? Probably right, most likely right, yes, but it's also because, well, there are so many things to bloody complain about, especially if you put two cultures in together. We haven't done that yet, but just imagine me criticizing another culture, which I have no idea what they're actually about. I don't really understand the culture, but I feel that I'm entitled enough to criticize another culture. I can go on and on about that for years and years and years, probably, just criticizing all other cultures in the world. Not that I have done that or will do that, or maybe I have at some point. It's hard to remember with all of these videos. Anyway, I don't think that that's my intention anyway. Wow, I'm probably going to eat up those words if someone finds it. Anyway, I'm probably not going to do that in the next coming week, but we're going to see how long this social convention thing is going, because I think that, you know, it's bloody amazing. It's making my day every day. Well, because I think it's nice. But yeah, matters less. Anyway, the second thing that has happened, oh yeah, this is kind of a physical thing, is that I have gotten me thumb up me ass and I've actually done some things. I don't think that's an English saying. It just sounded stupid when I said it, didn't it? Van tummen og afsluit, liksom. And I'm going to show you. Now, you probably see that this thing right here don't usually stand here. It usually is around here, but here's a guitar now. And why is that? Well, I've actually rechanged them, so this isn't going to make any sense. But I have fixed one of my guitars. This guitar right here has been inside of that thing for, well, I don't know, a year, 2 years? No, it hasn't really. It just had been there for like 5 months. But it has been damaged for like 2 years. And that's because when I bought it, one of the strings went out. But now, fixed it, even though it's not tuned correctly, because it's new strings and I haven't bent them enough. If you're a guitarist, you probably understand what I'm saying. If you're not, well, you're probably just thinking that, aren't you bending the strings all of the time? No, but you can actually do things like this. Please don't break. You can drag out the string. Don't even know if that can be seen. No, probably not. This is just a meaningless thing. Anyway, so that you actually make sure that when you tune the guitar and it's not exposed to any new weather conditions, the tuning holds a bit better. Anyway, this is stuff, very specific stuff that probably nobody cares about. But what I would like to try and say with this is that I finally got to do it, even though I thought about it for like 2 years. And not that I'm not doing, you know, new initiatives each and every day. That's not what I'm saying. I do. But sometimes it's nice to take one of those old things that you thought, you know, I do that over the weekend, and then it never happens. And the longer you wait, the harder it gets to do, even though it's a really easy thing, you know, just restring it because one of the strings was broken. So today I did it and it feels amazing. So I encourage you to, if you've made it this far in the video, I guess that you can, you know, you have some amount of, what should we say? Some amount of... And if you made it this far in the video, you probably have some amount of, I don't know what it's called, but like you can carry out, you can believe. Oh. And if you made it this far in the video, you probably believe that my opinion is at least partially right when it comes to my argumentation, right? For some of the things in this world. So I totally say to you, all of you, that take an initiative that you said that you were gonna do but haven't done yet, and do that today, yes, for the rest of the day or tomorrow whenever you watch this video. Anyway, mates, that's probably everything for me because I feel like my head is having a mental breakdown, even if I included that in the clip or not, we'll see. The editorial me will take care of that. Gonna be a huge surprise for current me, even though current me is never gonna see the clip because, well, yeah, this is a time thing. Anyway, mates, have a nice one. I'll see you tomorrow.